Let's talk about spicing up your live streams just a little bit using something really simple, affordable, and quality like the Fifine SC3 mixer. So if you're like a gaming channel, or in my case, you do a live stream on Thursdays at 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific called Only Frets, where me and my buddy Sean over at Sean Plays Guitar, talk about guitar and everything. Something like this may be right up your alley. So this is just a little mixer that you can plug in a microphone to. You have a couple of different things here, a couple of different sliders to control different volumes and everything, but it's got a little bit more built into it than that, and I was going to show you that today, courtesy of Fifine, because they are sponsoring this video. They did send this out, so thank you very much for doing that. If you want to check the link in the description, you can go pick one of these up for yourself. So very, very simple, despite the fact that there are a lot of buttons and sliders and all that other kind of stuff. So on the surface, again, it's just an audio mixer, right? Up here at the top, you would plug in a microphone right here. You can plug in a dynamic or condenser mic. You do have the switch there to make that decision there, but you can also plug in something like a guitar. In my case, you can plug it straight in there and you're good to go, but I would use it for a mic just because that's kind of what it's for. But anyway, headset right there, line in, headphone, line out, and then you power it via USB-C, which you do get a very nice, very long USB-C cable, which can also be changed via the little attachment there. So it can be like a standard USB cable or a USB-C to USB-C, which is really nice to have kicking around. And then you obviously get your little aux cable right there included, so you can make certain attachments to it. If you have headphones or something that you need to plug in, they got you covered there. Some of the features on the front that's kind of cool. Again, you have individual sliders for your mic, line in, headphone, and line out, with some buttons down here to mute them, so they are just push to mute. You can monitor your mic, which is really good when you're trying to set levels or you're trying to make sure everything's coming through nice and clear. Then you have a mute for your line out as well. You do have a built-in voice changer, which I've played with this one a little bit, and they had their uses. They're more just for comedic value. They serve nothing for like, I want to prank call somebody and fool somebody. They're not going to do that, I promise. They're what they are. I'll just say that. But, they're there for a comedic effect. You have male, female, robot, monster, baby, and elder. So good for a cheap laugh. This electric button is a little interesting to me, too. It almost sounds like it's some kind of like auto-tune type deal. But, I mean, you literally have all of the notes, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and all the flats, which I think is kind of funny. You have phantom power, which is what the 48V up there, 48 volts, phantom power built in, so you can power all the mics that you need to. And it's RGB, so it's got a bunch of different light color combinations in there too, which you can control here. And obviously, because I'm on my way to becoming the next big e-girl online with all of the pink and glowing and all that other kind of stuff, that's a joke, people, before you lose your collective minds in the comment section. I do set it to the pink because it suits the theme rather nicely, I think. Right? So sticking with the theme here, we are going to be using a microphone to test out how this thing works and just kind of show you some of the stuff that you can do with it. Because one thing I forgot to mention are these custom buttons, but to explain that to you, I'll go ahead and plug it in here and get it going. So we're going to be using my Fifine microphone. I do have a video on this too if you want to check that out. And I'm not going to use the bass on it just because my table's kind of low. I'm going to screw it into my other mic stand. And then we'll plug this into my laptop here just to show you how easy it is. It's really just plug and play, and you'll get straight on to conducting your live streams. I'll be back in a second. All right, so I've got everything hooked up here. I've got a couple different things going on really quickly. So first and foremost, you may have noticed I'm wearing headphones, which I never do in videos. That's because I'm trying to monitor everything to make sure it's good, but it should be pretty good. I've got camera 2 right here, aka my phone, recording everything hooked up here. As you can see, I've got my pretty pink going on down here. But if you press this button, you'll see that you can run through different colors. You'll get, the different rainbow-y kind of color theme there. It'll fade in and out, all that kind of stuff, run through, change colors. But obviously, I like my pink. And then I've got OBS going on my laptop right here to capture the audio, just because I figured that's the easiest way to do it. But OBS would be something that you would typically use something like this for because of live streaming and everything. And then obviously I've got my Fifine mic here, which again, I got a video on this if you want to check that out. Really nice mic. I tend to use it on my live streams as well. So again, you can see I have the mic here. Slider is up a little bit where I think it's capturing the audio pretty well. I don't think I'm peaking out or anything. But then again, I'm not talking very loud. And then I've got my headphones there. I can turn that up and down to, hear the monitor and everything, but I don't have a line in or a line out going in there. Same kind of deal. You can control it with that fairly easily. So let's talk about the change voice. We'll run through some of the voices real quick, and I'm just going to talk, and you can hear just kind of how they sound. So you would hold it down, or you could press
it, and then you see this is the male setting, so it is what it is.
You click it again, and now we got female, so it is what it is. Hi, boys. Next girl, I'm telling you.
Robots can't understand what I'm saying at all. But, monster, this one is what it is. It's just a really, really deep voice.
Baby, which typical, like, really high-pitched Alvin and the Chipmunks kind of thing.
And then Elder, which I think is probably the best sounding of the 6. But that's just me. Maybe you could make them work in some kind of context. I don't know.
Hold it down, and now you got the voice you all know and hate for real. So next thing I want to talk about is the electric button, because it is kind of like an auto tune, like I said. So again, just to have a little bit more fun. And there you go. You may not be able to hear it right away, but if I start to pitch it out, you'll start to hear it kind of change. And then you can change the key, which I don't know if anybody's really paying that much attention to that, but you know, we're on a G and a G flat and an F. I embarrass myself online all the time. Why am I making this to post this? I don't know. Anyway, we're not running a phantom power required mic right now, so I don't need the phantom power on, but you can engage it if you really need to. It's up there. Let's talk about these custom buttons. So you have custom A, B, C, and D. Essentially what you can do with those is load up your own sound clip, so you can press it and, you know, have all that comedic value that everybody knows and loves online. But what's cool about it too is, well, first and foremost, I don't know if you can like load like an MP3 to it and like press it like an actual sound clip online. I'm sure you can. I've not tried it, but you know, what you can do though is if you hold down, we'll just hold down A like this. Subscribe to Electric Flamingo on YouTube, and you just say something like that while it's white. If you press A again, subscribe to Electric Flamingo on YouTube. You get some mindful advice there to subscribe to this channel. But you can do that, and you can override it if you hold it down. You can re-record something over that, but you would just hold it down till it turns white. Hello. Hello. Press it again, do like that. So you have the potential to, you know, load up your own sounds there, make your live streams a little more fun, and again, make it a little more appealing if people can see your desk or whatever, or if you just kind of want something for you, because at the end of the day, everything's for you anyway, right? So, I mean, it sounds good. Like the quality of it sounds really good. I think the audio quality and the recordings sound good. So, you know, you have that. USB-C audio, or USB audio in general, has really kind of impressed me, because I'm still relatively new to using that. I mean, obviously I'm plugging things into interfaces and doing it, you know, through XLR cables and things like that. So I'm rather impressed with USB audio. I mean, I use USB audio all the time when I use my shotgun mic to record into my phone. That's how I get the audio for most of my videos nowadays. But this, you know, like I said, it's a cool little option if you want to spice up your room a little bit, or your studio, or you want to add a little bit of flair visually. Or if you just want those options to kind of have a little more control over your, you know, sound and everything with the faders. You have, you know, line in and line out and all that kind of stuff going. You can control all that. And then you have the custom buttons, which I think are kind of cool. And then you have the goofiness of like the built-in auto-tune and the voice changer, you know. So it is what it is, you know. And
yeah. So you should absolutely subscribe to this channel.
I greatly appreciate it. My buddy there said subscribe to the channel in case you didn't hear him.
And with that being said, links are in the description. Like I said before, if you want to check it out, which you absolutely should.
Thank you very much, Fifine, for sending this out. Really appreciate it. Again, links in the description. Please make sure you subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.